Sioux Falls' oldest cemetery reaches two important milestones this year. Mount Pleasant Cemetery on the city's east side is turning 150 years old.
And the cemetery's chapel is 100 years old this year. But the chapel's facing some serious structural problems that the cemetery management wants to fix. Perry Groten tells us about their unusual fundraising pitch to restore the chapel in tonight's Eye on KELOLAND.
It's been years since any services took place inside the Glidden Memorial Chapel.
It sounds weird, but I'm excited to hold a first funeral in this space again.
The public isn't allowed inside the chapel because moisture from years of freeze-thaw cycles has weakened the flooring.
That moisture has seeped up. It's eaten through the mortar concrete that covers all the steel reinforcements for the floor, and it has started to corrode those beams.
Mount Pleasant Cemetery raised thousands of dollars to pay for an engineering study to come up with a solution. Now they have the results of that study that include shoring up the building with 5-foot walls installed on both sides of the basement.
And they'll bring in steel beams and run steel beams across the top of those block walls they put in to put new supports underneath this, and then there'll be plates that spread that weight. So you'll basically build a new substructure underneath the chapel.
But such an engineering undertaking is expected to cost around $250,000. So the cemetery is raising the money through an offer that's in keeping with one of the chapel's earliest functions.
It's an amazing idea because it will tie in more of a personal feel for the family to be able to be a part of it.
When the chapel first opened in 1924, the basement was used as a winter cold storage for bodies awaiting burial in the spring.
Lots of bodies, lots of people. This was their temporary resting place until the ground could be opened up and they could be buried, because you didn't have big diesel backhoes and things that could dig through big frost lines when the ground was frozen solid.
Now, to raise money for the chapel's restoration, the cemetery is offering families vault space for cremation urns to be permanently located in the basement.
And they'll be all granite lined. There'll be 2 hallways down the basement, and there'll be different little rooms. And so, if a family wanted to give $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to us to help seed the initial costs of the construction, we'd be willing to give them a namespace in the basement with some vaults for their families to use in the future.
Of course, the basement, currently in a state of disrepair, will require a lot of cleanup before becoming an eternal resting place.
Urns should probably from here have different sections of urns for family members designated for them, as well as maybe a private room or area, or maybe an altar that we can, make for a prayer area or something like that.
Right now, the only way to get into the basement is through a kind of a root cellar entrance. But the plan is to add a new door to the back of the chapel, one where the stairs aren't as steep. They'll also add a railing, so it's a lot easier for visitors to pay their respects to their loved ones.
I don't think anybody wants to go through the trap door into the basement that, it's like going in an old root cellar. We're going to need something that people can move down the stairs and not hold on for dear life.
The cemetery also hopes to add a wheelchair lift at the entrance, a century-old chapel coming full circle by returning to its origins as a sanctuary for the departed.
So it'll eventually be a beautiful thing to see when it all comes together.
With Eye on KELOLAND, I'm Perry Groten.
The cemetery hopes to break ground on the construction project by December, when the chapel first opened 100 years ago. And if you're interested in donating to the chapel restoration, we have a link to the website on our story on KELOLAND.com.